Okay, so we are at the presentation of the graduation project here. We have a new repository. So this is the repository of the graduation project. You can read the README here, and we can get started just as always with the Git pod. So yeah, let's open the Git pod and also take a look at the requirements. Okay, so first thing to understand is that this project is made up of two different canisters. You have the web page canister and the DAO canister. You can see in the source folder, you have the DAO folder and the web page folder. And you can see in defx.json, you have the DAO canister and the web page canister. We also have the token, but I'll talk about the token in a few minutes, because the token, you actually don't need to write any code for it. It's already done for you and you don't need to worry about it. So the goal is basically going to be to create a web page that displays the manifesto of your DAO or any kind of text that you want to display. And having another canister, the DAO canister, that essentially is the only entity able to modify the text through intercanister call. The goal here is to showcase powerful feature of DIC, so the fact that an application can be controlled by another application and that we can build DAO and DAO frameworks like this. This is essentially what the SNS is, but in a very simplified manner, of course. And so this is the project that we're going to build for the graduation. Then we need to have a token system. So for the token system, you will need to use the Motoko Bootcamp token, which is a free educational faucet that we have access here. So there is no value for this token. It's educational only. It will never add any value, never have any value. You can mint as much token as you want, and you can also burn as much token as you want. The source code for this token is in the token faucet folder. So here, main.motoko, you have access to the source code. You don't need the source code if you're deploying on the IC, so on the playground or on the IC, because this canister is already deployed for you and live. The canister ID is actually this one. If you are working locally, you will need to deploy a version of the faucet locally, so that's why I have included the source code for you. And you can find the interface of the live canister here. So you can see that you can check the balance of any principal, you can burn, mint any amount that you want, and you can transfer any amount that you want. So this token, you will need to use it whenever a new member join your DAO. So it will receive 10 Motoko Bootcamp token upon joining. So you have to do like a intercanister call at this time. And Motoko Bootcamp tokens are used for participating in DAO activities. So any activities, as we will see later, can involve tokens. There is going to be a role system in your DAO. So you need to have 3 roles: the students, graduates, and mentors. All the members of your DAO start as students. They are members who haven't completed the bootcamp yet. They haven't graduated yet. These are members, the graduates are members who have completed the bootcamp. They can actually vote on proposal, whereas students are not allowed to vote on proposal. Any member can become a graduate through a graduate function. So a graduate function is the function that you will have to implement in the DAO, which would be probably here. You can pass a student and you can move the student to a graduate. The graduate method can only be called by a mentor, so the last role that we see here. And there is no need to implement a verification process. So essentially, what I mean by that is that you're not going to do anything in the graduate function. It's just just need to verify that the person calling is a mentor, but nothing else in terms of actually verifying the graduation process. The mentors are graduates who are selected by the DAO to become mentors. So to become a mentor, you need to be selected by an existing mentor that passes a proposal. I know it's a little bit complex, but you have to follow there. You have to pass a proposal and get elected. So essentially, you need to have an existing mentor that supports you and then be elected by the DAO through a proposal. So the proposal, only mentors can create proposals, and creating a proposal is going to burn one Motoko Bootcamp token, which decreases the token balance, of course. The voting system, so only graduates and mentors are allowed to vote. The voting power of a member is determined as follows. So if the member is a student, the voting power is set to 0. Student doesn't have voting power by default. The member is a graduate, the voting power is going to be directly equal to the number of tokens they hold at the moment of voting. So you need to get an information to compute the voting power. If the member is if the member is a mentor, there is a multiplier. So there is a multiplier by 5x, which means that the voting power is equal to 5x the number of Motoko Bootcamp token that they hold at the moment of voting. The yes or no field, yeah, so this is after that, we are talking about more like specific details about proposal. So I can take a look at the proposal, but we actually already experience this type in the level 4, so you should be familiar, but essentially the vote score is a value between -100 and 100. -100 or less, your proposal is considered rejected. 100 or more, the proposal is considered as accepted. So you can read here. There is also an example of a scenario that explains everything that you need to know. The proposal can be of 3 types. So you are going to have 3 types of proposal. The proposal to change your manifesto with a new text, the proposal to add a goal with also a text provided, and the proposal to add a mentor. So to essentially move a graduate to a mentor. After that, you need the initial setup. So the initial setup of the DAO should include an initial mentor. Because if you think about it, if you don't have any mentor, you cannot actually pass proposal, you can't do anything. So you need an initial mentor. For testing purposes, I will ask you to add this mentor. So you need to add this in your code. You can decide to outcode that in your canister, or you can also execute like a script or a function just after that, after having deployed your canister, before you're submitting on the dashboard. The token faucet, I've already talked about it. And the final requirement is that you need to make use of stable data structures for this project. So the goal is for you to make your canister upgradable without losing any data. And that will be it. After that, you have the interface for the DAO. You have the interface for the web page. To submit your project, you need to go on the dashboard as always. And your diploma gives you the following benefits that are listed here. One last thing is you might have some struggle with the deployment. So you will see that the web page canister contains this argument. So when you deploy it, you will need to provide an argument, which would be the principal of the DAO canister. And in the DAO canister, you need to specify the principal of the web page canister. So there is a kind of a dependency issue here, as you can see, but you can fix it by deploying the DAO, then getting the canister ID of the DAO canister, then deploying the web page, getting the web page ID of the web page canister, and then redeploying the DAO. So we need to go that way, if that makes sense. Yeah, of course, you can ask any question about the graduation project. And that's about it. Yeah, you can deploy from the playgrounds. It's fine, as always, and then submit on the dashboard. Does the web page canister require calls to DAO actor for all its functions? Um, so yes, good questions. Yeah, actually, it should not be here. Oh, okay, that's a mistake here. No, actually, no. Okay, so the way it's supposed to be, you will need to, yeah, you will need to use the DAO canister to call the web page canister. Uh, in the sense that you, how to say it, you, like, let's say you have a proposal on the DAO canister that changed the manifesto, then you need to call these methods on the web page canister and update. It should always be up to date. Like if you have a manifesto on the DAO, it should be the same on the web page, should always be reflected. And so I'm not gonna give away all the answers, but essentially this method, you can think that only some canister will be able to call it. You can implement some check and everything. Which canister ID do we submit on the dashboard? The web page, sorry, the DAO canister. Yeah, the DAO canister. Can we hardcode the manifesto into the web page canister? Um, no, you cannot really hardcode it because it's going to change. Imagine that you pass a proposal, it's going to change, and so you need to make sure that it can be also updated on the web page canister through inter-canister calls. If I want to implement helpers function outside of the main.mo, yeah, you can create a new files. You can call it maybe utils.motoko, and then you can define a module and you can create helper function here that you will need to make public. And you can define helper function. So I don't have any example, but like you can do it with this. You can of course also do it directly, directly from the, I quit. You can directly do it from the main.motoko as well, the main file. So let's go back. What should the HTTP request show? Which one? So the one from the web page? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I should have precised that. The idea was to showcase the web page as we've done in the level 5. At the bare minimum, I would say the manifesto would be important. But now that we have the goals and the logo, I think I want to do some modification. I think really at the minimum, it should be the manifesto so that we can see basically what I want to see, like the thing that makes the graduation done is that do you have a web page? And when I go to the DAO canister, I vote, I pass a proposal. Is the website updated? Like the web page updated, the manifesto, does it change? If it's the case, then you've successfully made it. Otherwise, you still have to work on it. After that, if you want to customize more the web page and you want to like have a better setup, you can do it. But I would say that's the minimum required. When is the deadline? So this weekend is the deadline. So we will work on it. If you need help, we can work on it together this weekend. In theory, there is no deadline, but I don't want to say that because I would consider that the bootcamp after the Sunday it's over. And so yeah, I would say that uh, the deadline is on Sunday. But the dashboard will always be there for you. So because it works 24/7. Okay. Well, the graduation process automated? Yes, the graduation process is automated, but you won't receive your diploma immediately. We are still working on it. I mean, the dashboard is still not at the level I would like it to be, like not final to everything done, you know? So you will be able to graduate, but not receive your diploma right out of the box. Yeah, so the diploma is the NFT. That's what I was talking about. Since we are working on it, essentially we will be able to send it to everyone at some point when it's ready. And you will probably receive a notification on the dashboard or an email that will let you know that it has been minted and it's out there. Yeah, so the team projects, that's my mistake here. Will we will do a session this weekend where we will talk about what to build on the IC, so like different projects. I wanted you to do like team research, but I think it was too early. And also, yeah, like I don't have all the resource ready for you to work on those team projects. So unfortunately, I'm not sure we will have the team project. The idea was to generate some, some ideas and brainstorm on potential projects to build on the IC. But yeah, I'm sorry about that, and sorry about this last minute change. So tomorrow, this will be replaced by a brainstorming session where we will talk about DeFi, NFTs, requests for startups, and all sorts of projects that we could build on the IC or that you could try it after the bootcamp. But yeah, the teams, I think it's going to be complex to get everyone back. I think we've lost a few people as well that were in the original team. So it's better to focus on your graduation project and do the brainstorming together. Yes, so um, Ben has been confirmed this weekend or not? Let me see, actually. Pending confirmation with the head of TalentDB. So if we have the session, it's going to be tomorrow. And I can't confirm right now. It's going to be last minute change. You would like this talk about finding a job in Web3? Yeah, I hope Ben can join us. Okay, well, I close this session here. If you have any question about the graduation project, I have a few people that have reached out to me by DM on Discord, so feel free to reach out, especially since there might be like I'm still working on improving the project, so it's possible that you have some questions that are not 100% answered in the documentation. So if that's the case, yeah, don't hesitate to reach out. Yeah, I have a point of view about finding a job in Web3. I think Ben has a good perspective as well because he has been in contact with most of the startups. If we don't have Ben, I'm going to give some recommendation based on my journey, like how I had my opportunities in the ICP ecosystem, how I found out some jobs and made my way into this ecosystem. I will give some recommendation. Okay, well, let's close it here. I need to finalize a few modifications for the graduation project, nothing that will affect you, but more on the dashboard side. And again, make sure to reach out if you have a problem. It's possible that there are some little bugs here and there, so don't feel free to reach out. Otherwise, good afternoon, everyone, and see you tomorrow for the session on Bitcoin integration. So we'll talk about threshold ECDSA, integration with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Good afternoon.